Coming up on this edition of Southwest TV News. Another influenza season has arrived, and as in past years, Saskatchewan Health is offering free flu shots across the province during public health clinics and at other locations. The Swift Current Museum is continuing its efforts to honor Swift Current and area veterans through a banner program. Last year, the museum unveiled 7 banners sponsored by veterans' families and other local agencies. And now in 2017, 9 additional banners have been added to the collection. Fire prevention should be top of mind throughout the year. And every October, fire departments across the country bring this topic into the spotlight with their annual campaign. Thanks for joining us here today. Another influenza season is here, and health officials are again reminding you to roll up your sleeves and get your flu shot. Another influenza season has arrived, and as in past years, Saskatchewan Health is offering free flu shots across the province during public health clinics and at other locations. Several pharmacies and physician offices will also offer the flu shot. However, there may be a fee for service at those locations. A simple step of rolling up your sleeve, which can help prevent you from several sick days this winter.
Well, you should get the flu shot, one, because it's an effective way to protect yourself from getting a strong infection, which is what the influenza is. A number of people may mistake the influenza for a common cold, but the common colds are caused by a mild type of virus, not at all the influenza virus. The influenza virus itself gives a very strong illness. Usually, even in the healthiest of people, it will put you in bed for a few days at the least. So it's a good reason to protect yourself against that. Now, many people will say, oh, I've survived all these years and never had the flu, but that does not give you a guarantee that this year or tomorrow you won't get the flu. So it's always better to protect yourself. And the other thing is that the vaccines are very safe. They've really come a long way, and every year they improve on the safety of these vaccines.
And proper hygiene should also be a part of your daily routine, as this will also help in preventing the spread of illness.
The flu virus will survive on surfaces, so you can easily catch it from door handles or carts or trolleys or tabletops. It will exist once it's come into the environment. It will circulate and survive on any of these surfaces. So certainly, hand hygiene, frequent and proper hand wash is a very important thing to do. If you do have a cough, of course, good etiquette of covering your cough, either cough in the sleeve or cough into a tissue and dispose of it. Measures like that are very, very important. Being that it's winter, it's also really important to stay warm, because when it's cold and you're not covered up properly, you again predispose your body more easily to getting respiratory infections.
And if you do become ill, stay home from work and other public events. And if your symptoms worsen, visit your physician. Influenza season is generally in effect from late October through the end of March.
Well, I stated right away, I put this as an imposter, and I'm in no way endorsing a situation or a scheme like this.
As Remembrance Day approaches, another round of veterans' banners has been unveiled by the Swift Current Museum. The Swift Current Museum is continuing its efforts to honor Swift Current and area veterans through a banner program. Last year, the museum unveiled 7 banners sponsored by veterans' families and other local agencies. And now in 2017, 9 additional banners have been added to the collection. Family and friends of the honored veterans were at the museum for the unveiling ceremony. Gordon Hartley was a communications officer with the Royal Canadian Corps Signals during World War II and had a banner in his honor unveiled last year. And now he and his family have sponsored 2 more banners, honoring his father Henry and his brother Harry, who also served overseas.
It's pretty important to us because, well, Dad passed away quite a few years ago. And my brother, he passed away too, after he got discharged, of course. A lot of people have a different idea about a war and returned men and stuff like that, you know. No, I'm very proud of everybody.
Gail McConaughey and her family also sponsored a banner honoring her father, who served as a communications officer in World War II. A recognition which would mean a lot to her father, who passed away a few years ago at the age of 94.
His first actual posting was in England, and he flew many, many soirees out of there and then went into Africa. And that's where he finished up his tour of duty, was in Africa. Dad never talked about the war very much until there was a reunion up in Cold Lake of his squadron, which was the 419 Squadron. And after that, and a bunch of his buddies went back for it, and he opened up a lot about it. And mostly the humorous things, because that's the way he was, but also some of the serious aspects of it. And it was just very interesting to see that side of his life that we didn't know anything about.
Now with 16 banners in place, the Swift Current Museum plans to continue with this legacy project for future years.
The first year was very popular, and this has increased a little bit, and so hopefully next year. I know I have 30 names of Swift Current soldiers who were killed at Vimy Ridge in 1917, and so if I can find, again, like I said, if I can find photographs of them, they'll go up. So at least 30 for next year.
The veterans' banners will be displayed at Memorial Park in Swift Current through Remembrance Day and are part of a nationwide program. For over 12 years, Southwest TV News has provided the visuals for the defining moments in our community. Support your community and help us to continue our work. Support our sponsors by watching the ads on YouTube and by clicking the ads on our website. Pennies per click, which will help us continue to bring you the award-winning news coverage you've come to expect from Southwest TV News. Smoke detectors save lives, and you're again being reminded to ensure you have a working smoke detector in your home. Fire prevention should be top of mind throughout the year, and every October, fire departments across the country bring this topic into the spotlight with their annual campaign. This year's focus is ensuring that everyone in the home knows the escape route in case of a fire.
So everybody's usually very comfortable with at least one way out of every room, and that's the one that we normally take in part of our walking and traveling throughout our home. The one that we're usually not very familiar with or can't confirm that it works is usually our secondary means of egress. So a window, a back door, something like that that doesn't get used very often. So part of this year's theme is to encourage everybody to really test those systems, make sure that the window isn't painted shut, or that it works properly, or that it's sliding on the tracks or on its swivel the way it's supposed to be, and that you can actually get out of that window. Some people take for granted that in an emergency that they'll be able to get out of a window, and in some cases they can't. So just checking those things, going through and looking for, every 6 months kind of thing to test your escape plan, especially with little kids. Lots of times little kids are nervous or more afraid, and just encouraging them to be able to open their own windows or to be able to get out of their rooms using their secondary means of egress in the event that we're not there to help them or can't help them.
This is also a good time of the year to have a closer look at your smoke detector to ensure it's working properly. And it all starts with changing the batteries.
On the whole, we tend to be or think that things are safer than maybe they are, and we live in a very safe society, and smoke detectors are everywhere. We're protected, and I think we take for granted maybe that those things are in working conditions. Over the last few years, we've talked about how older ones or ones that are older than 10 years old don't tend to work very well or have a failure rate. I think that we maybe forget the batteries or take a battery out, or oftentimes it's beeping and then we kind of forget about it. It goes through its beeping cycle and then we don't hear it and forget about it. So checking them on a regular basis every month or every second month, pressing the test button, making sure that they work, and then replacing the actual unit every 10 years.
A variety of smoke detectors are sold at your local hardware store, from battery-operated to smoke and carbon monoxide combo units. And you're reminded that a smoke alarm should be located on every floor of the home, preferably outside of the bedroom. Well, this brings to a close another episode of Southwest TV News, reporting the stories that matter to you. We always welcome your news tips. You can always reach us here by phone at our studio or by email to contact us at southwesttvnews.com. Also, be sure to join us daily online for the latest news from across Southwest Saskatchewan and so much more at southwesttvnews.com. And be sure to follow us on a range of social media. Thanks for joining us here today. I'm Carol Andrews.